Shalom, my friend. Let me begin with something important. God is not sitting there counting how much money you earn. What he really notices is how you use what you have. He watches your habits, not the number on your paycheck. Your future is not created by what you wish for. It is created by what you plan and what you practice every day. Think about this for a moment. Somewhere in the world, there is a person earning exactly the same salary as you who will become financially secure 10 years from now. And there is another person earning twice as much who will eventually struggle and lose everything. The difference between them is not luck, connections, or talent. The real difference is the seeds they plant in their daily life. We live in a time where people have been sold a very powerful financial illusion. You hear it everywhere. Think big, manifest success, visualize abundance, dream about a massive future. But there is something important that those messages usually leave out. For thousands of years, the Torah has quietly taught a different truth. God does not multiply wishes. He multiplies what you plant through your actions. My name is Rabbi Shimon, and for many years I have studied how the wisdom of the Torah connects with the psychology of money and human behavior. Today I want to help you understand why your financial life might feel stuck. Maybe it seems like you keep working hard, but nothing really changes. Maybe you feel like progress is always just out of reach. The surprising truth is that it usually has very little to do with your boss, the economy, or the market. Most of the time it comes down to the small choices you repeat every day, often without even thinking about them. The truth is that most people do not plant their seeds intentionally. They throw seeds everywhere without thinking and then expect beautiful results. They live based on impulse and then wonder why their finances look chaotic. But when you truly understand the law of seed and harvest, everything about money begins to change. Your relationship with it becomes calmer and more peaceful. Instead of feeling desperate or worried, you begin to feel in control. You stop hoping for change and start creating it. There is a story that changed the way I think about wealth. A man once inherited a small piece of land from his father. The land was rocky and looked almost useless. People around him laughed and told him to sell it. They said he should take the money and invest it somewhere else. But the man understood something they did not. He knew that the size of the harvest does not depend only on the size of the field. It depends on how consistently you plant. So every morning before the sun came up, he went out to that small piece of land. Each day he pulled one weed, planted one seed, and watered a small section. His neighbors thought he was wasting his time. His family thought he had become obsessed. But he kept doing the same simple work day after day. 5 years later, something amazing happened. That tiny field was producing more fruit than farms many times larger. The man had discovered a secret that most people never truly understand. Small actions repeated every day do not just add up. Over time, they multiply. This is the law of seed and harvest, and it is one of the most misunderstood truths about money and success. Many people believe wealth comes from a single big event. They think it will happen when they get the promotion, the inheritance, the lucky investment, or the brilliant business idea. But the wisdom of the Torah teaches something very different. Wealth is not an event. It is a harvest. And every harvest follows the same rule. It responds only to what is planted. It does not respond to intentions, hopes, or even prayers alone. A harvest grows from action. Before we continue, it is important to understand something. This idea is not really about religion in the way many people think. It is about recognizing how the Creator designed the world to function. The same God who created gravity also created the principles that guide prosperity. And just like gravity works whether you believe in it or not, the law of seed and harvest works whether people understand it or ignore it. So let us be honest for a moment. If your financial situation is not changing, it is rarely because you lack knowledge. Most people already know many of the things they should be doing. The problem is not information. The problem is applying it consistently. Modern culture has convinced us that simply learning something will transform our lives. But knowledge without action is just entertainment. You see this everywhere. People read book after book about money, but they never track their spending. They attend seminars about success, but they return home to the same habits that keep them stuck. They quote famous investors, but cannot save even a small amount consistently. They wait for the perfect moment to start. But the Torah teaches something very simple and powerful. Seeds do not wait for perfect conditions. They grow in the conditions they are given. One of the most powerful principles of wealth is this: everything grows according to its own kind. You do not receive the life you dream about. You receive the life your habits can support. In nature, if you plant apple seeds, you will grow apple trees. You cannot plant apples and expect oranges. In the same way, if someone constantly plants habits of debt, impulse spending, and financial confusion, the harvest will reflect those habits. Your current financial life is not simply a reflection of what you want. It is a reflection of what you repeatedly do. Your results are the echo of your daily behavior over time. Many people pray for abundance while thinking constantly about scarcity. They ask for more money but cannot manage the money they already have. They desire success but feel afraid of the responsibility that comes with it. Without realizing it, they plant seeds that lead to struggle while hoping for a harvest of prosperity. But there is something very encouraging about this truth. Once you understand it, the mystery disappears. You can begin to see where your life is heading. If your habits align with your goals, you will eventually arrive where you want to go. If they do not, no wish or hope will override that. Another principle that people misunderstand is the idea of delay. Many people assume that if results do not appear quickly, something must be wrong. But the Torah teaches that a delayed harvest is not a denied harvest. Think about how a seed grows. When you plant it in the soil, there is always a period of time when nothing seems to happen. The ground looks quiet and unchanged. But underneath the surface, something important is taking place. The seed is developing roots. It is building strength and structure before it appears above the soil. Many people never learn to respect this hidden stage. They plant their efforts and expect results almost immediately. When nothing appears quickly, they give up. They believe the system does not work. But often what looks like delay is actually preparation. Growth is happening beneath the surface. Character is forming. Discipline is strengthening. If someone suddenly received great wealth without the habits and mindset required to manage it, that wealth would disappear quickly. History shows this again and again. People who gain money suddenly often lose it just as fast. That is why waiting periods can actually protect us. They allow time for the inner structure required to sustain success to develop. Another powerful idea from the Torah is that the size of the harvest is connected to the size and consistency of the seeds. Our culture loves stories about overnight success. Everyone wants instant transformation, but true prosperity rarely works that way. Real wealth usually grows slowly through steady and repeated actions. There is a famous example of this principle in the story of Joseph. When Pharaoh had a dream about 7 years of abundance followed by 7 years of famine, Joseph did not simply wait for a miracle. He created a system. During the years of plenty, Egypt saved 20% of every harvest. They did not save only what was left over. They saved intentionally and consistently. When the difficult years arrived, Egypt was prepared while other nations struggled. Joseph understood something powerful. Systems create stability. Discipline produces harvest. Imagine applying that same principle to your own life. What if instead of waiting until you earn more money to begin saving, you started with a small amount today? What if consistent actions replaced occasional motivation? Over time, those small steps could completely transform your life. The real challenge for most people is not knowing what to do. The real challenge is doing it regularly. Our culture glorifies motivation, but motivation comes and goes. Discipline is what produces lasting change. Discipline means acting wisely even when you do not feel inspired. The Torah shows that consistency matters more than intensity. If you observe people who are truly successful, you will notice something interesting. Their lives are usually built on simple, repeated behaviors. They track their finances. They save regularly. They invest calmly instead of reacting emotionally. While others chase excitement and dramatic opportunities, they quietly continue planting seeds. Many people begin with enthusiasm, but stop when the excitement fades. They treat financial discipline like a short challenge instead of a permanent lifestyle. But wealth grows through habits that last for years, not weeks. Some people also become addicted to financial drama. They enjoy the emotional highs and lows of spending, risking, and reacting. But drama is not stability. True alignment with the natural order brings peace, not chaos. Others delay taking action because they believe the timing is not right. They tell themselves they will start when they earn more or when life feels easier. But perfect conditions rarely appear. The best time to plant seeds is almost always now. Small, consistent steps are what slowly build momentum. Over time, those steps transform not only your finances, but also your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who manages money wisely and acts with intention. And when that shift happens, opportunities often begin to appear in unexpected ways. Peace replaces anxiety because your financial life is no longer driven by emotion. It is guided by principles. Money then returns to its proper place in life. It becomes a tool rather than a master. So remember this simple truth. God is not measuring your life by the size of your paycheck. He is observing the rhythm of your habits. Your future is not shaped by what you wish for. It is shaped by what you repeatedly practice. Success is not mysterious when your habits align with the principles built into creation. When you plant wisely and consistently, the harvest eventually follows. Your life becomes like a field. Each decision is a seed. Each habit is a planting. Over time, those seeds grow into the results you experience. That realization brings both responsibility and hope. Responsibility because your choices matter. Hope because change can begin immediately. You do not need a miracle to start a new direction. You only need the willingness to plant better seeds today. Imagine yourself 1 year from now after practicing consistent discipline. Your finances feel calmer. Your decisions feel intentional. Your generosity feels natural. This transformation does not require becoming a completely different person overnight. It only requires beginning with small, faithful actions. Every great tree began as a single seed. Every abundant harvest started with one act of planting. So do not underestimate small beginnings. Those quiet, simple actions are the foundation of lasting change. Start where you are. Use what you have. Plant wisely and consistently. Because in the end, tomorrow is simply today's actions grown to maturity.